The Geneva Motor Show is certainly one of the top dates on the international calendar for the auto industry. It takes place once a year and isn't overly influenced by the industry in the country, for with regard to cars, Switzerland is relatively neutral. One thing's for sure, the winds are changing in the world of cars. Fuel emissions scandals, difficult markets, and new technologies continue to lead to great uncertainty. Automotive analyst Christoph Stürmer views the industry a bit more organized than a few months ago. I think the general uncertainty has taken on some clear perspectives by now. The only way to go is electric. The question is, how fast can we get them out onto the roads, and how many of the old technologies that are around can we continue to use, or do we have to get rid of them? Besides all the innovations, new trends and discussions about future developments are also at the focus of the Geneva show. Premieres take on a special meaning and point to the direction manufacturers see themselves heading in the future. Will the future bring us niche car manufacturers, or are all the car makers headed in the direction of electrification? Geneva is the best place to answer such a question. There will be niche manufacturers, but even they have to be in tune with the times. In the mainstream areas, we have to place more emphasis on eco-friendliness, both for the people who sit in the cars and those outside of the cars. Noise, traffic reduction, traffic management, all a big topic here at the show, and many car makers are dealing with these issues. Now on to the top new model highlights in Geneva, especially from a German standpoint. The Porsche Mission E Cross Turismo is on center stage at the 2018 show and is truly amazing. With 600 horsepower and a 0 to 100 time of only 3.5 seconds, the fully electric mix of SUV, station wagon, and sports car is ready for launch. The electric car will have a range of 500 kilometers. Porsche has a long tradition. Whenever we show our concept cars, most of them make it out on the roads. Maybe as a designer, having worked so intensively on this project the past months, I'm not quite as objective, but in my opinion, this car must make it out on the roads. Head designer Michael Mauer makes it crystal clear that this offspring of the Mission E will unlock the door to a whole new world of design. Our philosophy incorporates typical Porsche design elements, ones that give the car its own product identity. Very impressive here, the headlights. No longer just traditional lights. We call it a source of light in an air intake. Very minimal, still these 4 points, or at the back the light strip. Not really just a tail light, but an element of communication between the user and the car. Porsche showcases the facelifted GT3 RS in Geneva. The Extreme 911 keeps its 4-liter naturally aspirated engine, now with 520 horsepower, making it the strongest naturally aspirated 911 in history. Porsche designed it with the same front end as the facelifted version of the regular GT3. In addition, the rear spoiler, the taillights, and the aprons got a makeover. Available on request, the so-called Weissach package, making the athletic car even lighter through the extensive use of carbon. Even the interior is decked out in lightweight carbon components, like the seats for instance. Don't look for any stick shift. The GT3 RS only comes with a PDK automatic transmission. VW's ID Vision is the fourth ID concept the company brought along to Geneva. Different from the already familiar ID vehicles from Wolfsburg, the ID Vision upper-class sedan is supposed to give us a look at Level 5 autonomous driving of the future. The possible Phaeton successor does without any steering wheel. Instead, VW promises that the ID will react to gestures and voice commands of the passengers and driver and know where to go. The purely electric ID Vision is said to have a range of 665 kilometers. Amidst all the minor innovations and facelifts, there are always the real major highlights. One of those is definitely the new A6 from Audi. Its looks, as well as its technical makeup, are much like those of the A8. The headlights are broader, but also narrower. The interior has also been inspired by its big brother. The new MMI touch response from the A8 and the A7, with a touch screen instead of buttons, will most likely also be found on the A6. What's more, the voice controls have been improved and gesture control is part of the package. The chrome strip bisecting the LED taillights also reminds us of the A7. The new A-Class makes its premiere in Geneva. The new model is full of new high-tech features and assistance systems from the luxury class. The design is clear and simple. The four-seater Mercedes-AMG GT63S shares the same body structure along with wheelbase and chassis with the new CLS. Still, the sporty AMG is a car all of its own. Its platform, interior equipment, all tailor-made. After the new G-Class was unveiled in Detroit, AMG adds its touch and shows off the G63. The powerhouse off-roader now has 585 horsepower, equal to that of the sports car, the AMG GTR. Seat turns its Cupra Sports division into its own brand. The first offspring of the brand will be the Cupra Ateca. The sports version of the SUV differs from the basic model with its new logo and the sharper design of its accessories. At the front, the upper honeycomb structure of the grille is the new trademark of the Cupra.
The most important thing of Cupra is that we are based in the performance of our cars. Like for instance in the Cupra Ateca, where we have 300 horsepower, four-wheel drive and really agile car to drive. This is very important, this is the base, but in terms of design and the feel and touch of the car, it's also different. Well, first of all, I expect that the concept is understood and then that we can grow up from here towards more differentiation.
The range-topping engine in the Ateca is the 2-liter TSI gasoline unit, already found inside the Seat Leon Cupra 300. It churns out 300 horsepower.
What we are presenting here is the first step. With the Cupra Ateca, you will see in the future more and more differentiation between Cupra brand and Seat.
The ultimate eye-grabber at the Seat stand is the first all-electric Seat for the track. In Geneva, the Spaniards placed the Cupra E-Racer on center stage, without a combustion engine, but with up to 680 horsepower. BMW brings us the new X4, 8 centimeters longer than its predecessor, 3.7 centimeters wider, and 1.62 meters in height, just as flat. Thanks to its new platform, it's now 50 kilos lighter. Up front, its mighty double-kidney grille and huge air intakes. On display at the Toyota stand in Geneva, the third generation of the Auris. The new edition of this compact car is expected to have a new hybrid drive system with a 2-liter engine.
Der neue Auris kommt ja nach Deutschland erst im nächsten Jahr, aber wir wollten die Chance.
The new Auris is heading for Germany next year. We wanted to take the opportunity here in Geneva to give people a preview of this car, to come out in the spring together with a wagon version. 3 years ago, Toyota debuted the new Aygo in Geneva. Now it's time for an update. The Aygo continues to wear the same typical X outfit at the front. Now, though, the X is three-dimensional. Besides new equipment packages, the Aygo also gets a little boost in power. The 3-cylinder now delivers 72 horsepower. It's no secret that Toyota and BMW are collaborating on the new Supra. The 2-seater racing concept gives us some insight into the production model.
Die Legende kehrt zurück.
A legend returns. Expect the Supra next year, and here we give you a little foretaste of how it will look. This is now a racing version, but later there will be a regular road version. Even now you can recognize the lines behind it, a real Supra. Lexus showcases a compact SUV, which goes by the name of UX. Thanks to its new platform, it has a lower center of gravity and a very stiff body.
Ist auf der neuen, sehr fahrdynamischen
It's on a new dynamic platform, which is geared to our younger customers, ones who might decide to buy a Lexus or even a premium class car for the first time.
Wir gehen davon aus, dass das unser
We think it will be our volume model at Lexus in Germany. We brought along this car to Geneva, for we feel there are great opportunities for us with this car here in Europe in the C segment. And also, we feel we are starting at just the right time, since the C segment seems to be expanding.
ausdehnen wird.
On the inside, the Lexus boasts loads of space and a driver-oriented cockpit. Also on stage at Lexus, the stretched version of the RX crossover, the RXL. What it has to offer? Thanks to its 11-centimeter longer body, there's room for up to 7 persons. With less passengers on board, the flexible seating concept gives you plenty of space and storage capacity. Already a crowd stopper in Detroit, the LF1 Limitless concept. Now it's in the limelight in Geneva, previewing how Lexus's next luxury crossover might look. Mazda already presented its facelifted Mazda 6 sedan in Los Angeles. Here in Geneva, the wagon version follows. Besides a couple of cosmetic touch-ups to its body, the main new features are inside.
Wir stehen hier vor dem Mazda 6 Face.
This is the Mazda 6 facelift, a model series introduced in 2013. Now it received a major makeover with a completely new interior. Very sophisticated, high class, and with new engines offered, ones that passed road tests and comply with the stricter emissions standard Euro 6D. The chassis has been modified and the noise comfort improved. There are now more assistance systems. All in all, a very comprehensive makeover of our Mazda 6 flagship.
Des Flaggschiffs Mazda 6.
In Tokyo, the concept of an elegant sedan turned many ahead. Things are happening at Mazda, also with regard to electric mobility.
Elektromobilität wird.
Electric mobility will come in the future. As of 2019, we will be launching a completely independent battery electric car. It will come equipped with a special range extender. This range extender will be driven by a Wankel rotary engine, something very typical of a Mazda. You are perhaps aware that the Wankel engine plays a big role for us. Its big advantage is that it is very compact and silent, and like this, only come from Mazda. Subaru comes to Switzerland with the sensational Visiv Tourer concept. Since it is based on the global platform, it remains true to its Subaru genes with boxer engines and all-wheel drive.
Wir haben hier ein Auto, was
Here we have a car which expresses the technical and design competence of the manufacturer. We want to give you a taste of the future and introduce you to the design of the new models. Up till now, this vehicle has only been an outlook of what's to come, demonstrating Subaru's potential. I really feel that this design of future vehicles will be very close to this study. So what we see here, we'll be able to see out on the roads very soon. Volvo presents an important car in Geneva, the new V60.
Der V60 ist deshalb.
The Volvo V60 is so important to us since it is a classic Volvo. It is a station wagon and family car, but also a car for business purposes, definitely geared to our customers who up till now have been driving a V70 or an XC70. We also are targeting customers who drive a car made by our competitors. Basically, the wagon is a mixture of the V90 and the XC60, both already on the market. It also bears familiar Volvo styling cues like its Thor's hammer-inspired daytime running lights.
Wir werden in den nächsten Jahren, das heißt zwischen 2019
In the next couple of years, from 2019 till 2021, we shall be launching 5 electric cars. 3 of them will be Volvos, 2 of them based on Polestar. The newly founded Volvo subsidiary takes the opportunity at the 2018 Geneva show to introduce its Polestar 1.
Polestar ist in der Tat eine neue Marke.
Polestar is indeed a new brand on the automotive scene. We shall be offering electric mobility. We came here with the Polestar 1. Within the next 2 years, we'll be launching several electric cars.
Rein elektrisch betriebene Batteriefahrzeuge auf den Markt bringen.
The 2-door coupe, with its 600 horsepower hybrid, is out to take on the likes of Tesla. Ford has a real crowd stopper with the successful racing version of the GT. 2 years after the market launch of the Edge, Ford freshens up its SUV and adds more technology. At the front, standard LED lights and the new grille stand out. The different equipment lines have slightly different grilles. Legend goes on. In the 60s, the Bullitt was a true dream car, based on the Mustang driven by Steve McQueen in the movie Bullitt. The new edition boasts 464 horsepower.
Die Familie McQueen, also seine
The McQueen family, their great-grandchildren, are also here. They presented the car yesterday. Today, what you see here is the new Bullitt. To the left behind me is the original model from 1968, a true icon. And here we stress that once more with the 465 horsepower version of the Mustang Bullitt.
starken Variante des Mustang Bullitt. Die Verkaufszahlen sprechen für das Fahrzeug.
The sales figures speak in favor of the car. Last year our sales were 9 times higher than those for the Porsche 911.
Im Sportmarkensegment sind wir
In the sports car segment, we are under the top 2 of the highest class with this vehicle. At the Geneva Motor Show, it's not only the big car makers premiering their top new cars. Much more, it is a venue to showcase everything that has to do with cars, and automotive suppliers are major contributors. Magna is the only automotive contract manufacturer to produce vehicles with conventional, hybrid, and electric powertrains. In some cases, all on the same production line.
Wir produzieren seit 1990.
Since 1979, we've been producing the G-Class. From 2018, the new G-Class will be as presented here. Besides the I-Pace for Jaguar, we also have been manufacturing the E-Pace, the smaller SUV, as you see here with its innovative features as a fully electric all-wheel drive vehicle. Contract manufacturing is one of the main pillars of Magna. In the spring of 2018, expect the Jaguar I-Pace to roll off the line in Graz, Austria. The successor to the Peugeot partner is named Rifter and identical to the new Berlingo.
Wir werden mit Peugeot
At Peugeot, we'll be taking the next important step in the segment of van-based MPVs, family and leisure activity vehicles. On the one hand, it's an expression of the diversity of the brand, and on the other, its modern character. We have succeeded in bringing the typical Peugeot features into this car, and with the Rifter, we clearly achieved that. The new Peugeot Rifter is even more versatile. We offer it in 2 lengths, perfect for leisure activities with long surfboards or large families. It gives you great mobility. It's more versatile and more stylish. What we also have here, and what comes as a surprise to many, is we have installed the Peugeot iCockpit, what really distinguishes a Peugeot. A sharp interior with a small, agile steering wheel. You don't always expect to find that in such a car. We really set exclamation points here. Peugeot gives us a new edition of its 508 sedan. The design takes minimal cues from the Exalt concept from 2014. Overall, the 508 sedan, now somewhat shorter at 4.75 meters in length, features a sporty design language with a flatter passenger cabin and chunky flaring fenders.
For
Peugeot, 2018 is a very special year. Behind me, the 508. It's the new rendition of the coupe-ish sedan, making a very strong statement in the important, perhaps not so large, but still very significant market. Kia presents the new Ceed. Not only the 5-door car, but also another version of the compact car are on stage in Geneva. With the familiar family face with its tiger nose grille now wider, just like the air intake beneath it. What is very striking about the car is its new design. Compared with its predecessor, it has much sharper lines, much more powerful and sportier design. But naturally, in such a segment like the C segment, it's not only the design that counts. That's why we are very glad to have two new engines here. A 1.4-liter turbocharged gasoline unit with 140 horsepower and a 1.6 common rail diesel, which complies with the latest emission standard, meaning it has the best consumption and emission values. Hyundai shows off the fourth generation of the Santa Fe. The design cues for the 4.77 meters long SUV were taken from current Hyundai models like the Kona. The Kona will also be offered as an all-electric car with two different sized large batteries. With a smaller battery, the car's range is 300 kilometers. The larger allows the Kona to drive 470 kilometers. The first time that an SUV is united with electric technology. A 500-kilometer range, 200 horsepower. It is an electric car in the B SUV segment, not only for rational minds, but also for the emotions. With our Nexo, the new fuel cell vehicle, the second series in production at Hyundai following the iX35, and now no longer just a 600, but 800-kilometer range. And the highlight of this show, the new design language at Hyundai. Le Fil Rouge, this sensuous sportiness, on the one hand emotional, on the other sporty, a typical Hyundai of the future. That's how Hyundais of the future will always be penned, emotional but sporty. Actually a real balancing act, but possible at Hyundai.
Aber bei Hyundai möglich.
Making its spectacular public debut at the Ferrari stand, the 488 Pista. Ferrari promises top performance both on the road and at the track, even if the car is not driven by professional racing drivers. Under the hood of the Pista, the strongest V8 in the history of Ferrari. The 3.9-liter twin turbocharged V8 pumps out a whopping 720 horsepower. On display at the Skoda stand in Geneva, the Vision X concept. The little SUV gives us a glimpse of the future Skoda Polar to share the platform of the VW T-Cross and the Seat Arona. Honda brings the new generation of the CR-V to Switzerland. In Europe, the CR-V will be available for the first time with an optional hybrid drive system. A nice piece of eye candy and making its debut in Europe, the Honda Sports EV concept. Sadly, no performance stats yet. Citroen shows off the third generation of the Berlingo. With the familiar face of the brand from the C4 Cactus, it's now set on a new platform and is offered in 2 links with 5 or 7 seats. No longer clad as the previous model, the new Citroen 4 Cactus moves up a notch. The crossover boasts a new suspension with hydraulic cushions for added comfort. The French manufacturer Alpine unveils 2 new versions of the mid-engine Porsche rivaling sports car, the A110. The weight-reduced Pure, especially developed for sporty drivers, and the comfort-oriented A110 Legende. A year ago, Lambo debuted the hardtop version of the Huracan Performante Spider. Now it opens its top. The Lamborghini Urus will be offered in the spring of 2018 at prices around 180,000 euros. According to dealers, pre-sales are already in progress. At Maserati, everyone expected a lot more from the Levante, hoping to join and maybe rival the ranks of the Porsche Cayenne. With a higher performance GTS, this may finally happen. Ayrton Senna would have loved this. McLaren presents the new Senna, the most extreme road-legal car in its company history. The Ultimate Series model tips the scale at only 1,198 kilos. The Senna packs a powerful punch with an 800 horsepower 4-liter bi-turbo and 800 newton-meters of max torque. All of the 500 McLarens planned to be built have already been sold. Baseline price, according to McLaren, 920,000 euros. We can still go a lot higher than that. Take the new cars showcased by the exotic dealers Zenvo or Corbelati. While the Danish carmaker Zenvo shows off a supercar allegedly with upward of 1,000 horsepower, the new Italian brand, Corbelati, unveils its rocket ship propelled by an amazing 1,800 horsepower to reach a ludicrous max speed of 500 kilometers per hour. Not as fast, but just as original, the Eden Green Zeclat. And the W Motors Fenir Super Sport. It's always been a super sports car legend, the Swedish brand Koenigsegg. In Geneva with its Regera. Even more exclusive, the Bugatti Chiron Sport. Or with new technology in the luxury segment, like the Bentley Bentayga Hybrid. After so many new cars and future technologies, we now ask ourselves, what are the true highlights? Naturally, we've seen one of the other great things. We want to know what the experts think. Vanna, what have you seen? What do you like in particular? For me, the car of the show is the Porsche Mission E Cross Turismo, an all-electric Porsche for off-road terrain. And race car driver Klaus Niedzwitz? After all the blows Volkswagen has dealt itself, for me, the ID Vision is my favorite car at the show. As for me, I especially like the car behind us, this Lamborghini. But also the Visiv concept from Subaru is really nice. One way or another, with all the amazing new cars at the 2018 Geneva Motor Show, there's something for everyone.